Hi everyone, merhaba, this is Ayşenur Altan. Welcome to Turkish Food and Travel. In this episode, I'm gonna show you a special bread we eat during Ramazan pidesi. The recipe will be a bakery style. I already shared another one and got nice feedbacks from you. Many of you tried already, but in this one, we will have the same ingredients, just water, flour, yeast and salt, but the technique is really different. I got it from a baker. He's also a Turkish YouTuber, a chef. I will include the channel link. It is very easy to make, but it has its own distinct flavor because of the wheat bran we use while we are shaping, the sesame and nigella seeds on top, and the baking method. It is delicious with any meal during breakfast or dinner. In case in Ramadan it is iftar with some breakfast spread we eat before the meal, some jam, butter, honey and cheeses, olives of course. In any way it's a great company. So let's make it. I'm using 500 milliliter 2 cups of cold water and about 5.5 to 6 cups flour, 670-80 grams. If you can find, use bread flour. I'm using all-purpose here. It is hard to find in Turkey in regular markets. So first we're gonna need the flour and water only for about 5 to 7 minutes. The flour I used didn't take that much water, so I had to add a bit more. It should be sticky but not too much. And after about 7 minutes of kneading, I add 1.5 teaspoon of salt and a bit more flour, and going to knead for about 3-4 more minutes. As you can see, it is still sticky. And now I'm adding about 20 grams fresh yeast, or instead you can add about 1 teaspoon dry active yeast. And I continue to knead for a couple of more minutes, adding more flour if needed until it is still sticky but smooth, soft, playable dough. Here is my pide dough ready. I'm gonna shape into a ball. If you are kneading by hand, after the kneading process you can fold couple of times to straighten the dough and then let it rest until it doubles. I'm sprinkling some flour over my countertop and get the dough out. You can sprinkle a bit more flour, but don't use too much. We want a soft dough. Just going to cut them into portions. I'm gonna scale my dough, and it was about 1 kilogram and 300 grams. I wanted to portion into 500 grams pides and use the rest to make a small pide. Of course, you can simply just cut it into 2 halves and then shape it. I'm gonna gently turn it into a ball. If you fold it like this, you will end up having a nice surface on top. And after shaping, make sure to sprinkle enough wheat bran if you can find. If you can't, you can also use cornmeal so it doesn't stick. Cover them with a clean, damp kitchen towel and Let them rest for about 20 minutes. In the previous recipe I shared, I used mix of egg yolk, yogurt and oil. This time I'm gonna use only whisked whole egg. You can use both choices for egg wash. And here is the fun part begins. As it is already risen, it will create some nice air packets and pillows, and transfer it to your baking tray, again sprinkled wheat bran, or you can also use baking paper, but it will be harder to stretch if you use so, and gently stretch a little bit after placing into the pan. And again generously I'm using the egg wash and then shape it beginning from the middle, and this way you also stretch up the dough a little bit, but you can also use a rolling pin if you want at the first hand before you rise the dough again, so it will be easier to open. I'm intentionally stretching the dough while transferring to my tray, and here is the last one. I used some more egg wash on top, and you can go through the pattern again to make it more visible. And traditionally we sprinkle sesame seeds on top and some nigella seeds. My oven is preheated to 220 Celsius degree, and I baked it alternately changing the pans from top to bottom so they cook evenly. And you can sprinkle some water and then cover it with a damp kitchen towel to keep it soft. Here it is, my friends. It came out really great, both crunchy and a little bit chewy. The inside is very soft, and the wheat bran, we spread nigella and sesame seeds on top. It really makes it very flavorful, so give it a try. I also prepared another very traditional Balkanian and Turkish recipe, chicken kapama or mishuriz. It is made with chicken and rice baked in the oven. It will be in the upcoming episodes hopefully soon. Stay tuned and see you next time. Afiyet olsun.